Hey readers, welcome to
The Club, the unfiltered book club podcast where we discuss all things fantasy, romance, pop culture, and our favorite topic, ourselves. We're your hosts, Ashlyn Clark
and Katie Hoyt. Thank you so much for listening. Let's get started.
Hello, and welcome back to The Club. We are so excited to be filming our second episode for you guys. I'm Ashlyn, and I'm one of your hosts, and I'm here with one of my bestie girls, one of my best friends of all time, and the mother to none other than Tyberto Hoyt.
That's right.
Miss Katie Hoyt, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Ash. You know, it's I don't normally have like a lot going on. So this past week
That's
I was
really
in
nice.
Yeah. But this past week I was in Indianapolis all
Oh,
week for my
yeah.
regular job. My work has a trade show, so busy, which I am not normally, but I'm happy to be home.
It's been nice
Back
just like coming
with
back home and like having a second to unwind.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got back home late on Friday night, and Hoyt had dinner ready for me, and the
Period.
house was clean. It was
Oh my
honestly
God.
amazing. Yeah. So all good things.
That's
When I
amazing. Go Hoyt for
yeah,
that.
he killed it. Except for you know what, Ash, he had a really great week. Um, he held it down here. He took care of Tiber. He did really a fantastic job. But in typical Hoyt fashion, he did have a little bit of like an uh-oh while I was gone.
And uh-oh. Okay,
Yeah.
please
So
expand.
so on Thursday night, I had been at the trade show all day. We had a breakfast so early that morning. I got up at like 4:30 a.m. Central Time. I had to get ready, go to the
Oh
breakfast, do
God.
the trade show, go to dinner, all these things. I get back at like 8 o'clock, and I'm FaceTiming him, and he's like, "So I have to tell you something." And I'm like,
That's just never a good way to start a conversation. Like, it doesn't matter
"Right,
how benign the thing is that you tell me, my heart rate's gonna
right.
go up when I see that.
Yeah.
But continue. Sorry.
Yeah." So I say, "Okay, what is it?" And he says, "I drove off with the gas pump in my car at the gas station this morning." And I was like laughing, but I
This
literally thought he was joking. So I said, "And you like you just waited to tell me this now?" He said, "Yeah, I was actually like not going to tell you at all, but yeah,
Well,
right
to be
down the
fair, he could have got
road."
away with that. You would have never known.
No, I would have absolutely never known. But we have a Mapco gas station right down the road from our house, and he goes there like every single
Oh my God,
morning.
it's the one that he goes to all the time. Like, it's his gas
Yeah,
station.
yeah, it's his
Shit.
gas station. He has like the Mapco, like the plastic coffee cup that he goes and like gets coffee every morning.
Oh, no. Did
And
they see him?
that
Like, did they know that he did that?
Oh, yes, because he realized it, like, he, like, put it in drive and said it sounded like you ran over something. So he, like, gets out, so they have designed the gas pump so that if this happens, it has kind of like a detachment point. So he, like, goes over, he tries to reattach it, can't get it, has to go inside and tell the girl that he drove off with the gas pump. He like comes back outside. There's a guy that was like upset, a guy that worked
Oh,
there who was like
God.
upset. I was like, what are you gonna do? You can never show your face with the
You better
back.
go ahead and just find a new Mapco to use that plastic cup at because they don't want you back.
Right. He was like, I don't care. Like he really was so unbothered, but
Good for him.
then he named himself the Mapco Maniac. So
So, so
so
he has this
yeah.
title now that anytime he goes to a Mapco, they're going to be on the lookout for him. They probably like sent
Right.
his face around to every Mapco in the US and we're like, if you see this man in this car, like literally lock your doors. Do not let
Yeah,
him attach to a gas pump. He can't be
right.
trusted.
Right, absolutely.
Damn.
So anyway, he did so well, other than, and even that, it doesn't affect me
That's true.
literally
It's
at
a really good
all.
uh-oh to have because you never have to think about it again except for comedic value.
Right, exactly. So anyway, that was just kind of like not something that I was expecting to happen. But again, of all the things that can go wrong when you are out of town and your husband is home alone with the dog, that really is just not an issue at all. So anyway, I come home from the show. I tell Hoyt, everybody while I was there, they were talking about their vacations that they're going on after the show. And I told him, I'm planning a vacation. I would love it if you would join me, but like, you should
But it's
know,
not a requirement.
right? Like, I am taking a trip. So we booked a trip. We're going to head out to Arizona in a couple of weeks, do the Grand Canyon.
Now,
We
did you
love it
do your
out
typical
there.
PowerPoint presentation? For those of y'all who don't know, Katie, every time she pitches a trip to her husband, she makes a full PowerPoint presentation, and that's how the SJM thing came up. She was like, if you want to
Mhm.
do it, like you have to make it appeal to me. But when
Yeah.
I ask him about this, he's like, "Yeah, I have ADHD. Every time she shows me the first PowerPoint, I'm like sold. Like I don't want to hear any more of this." But no, she forces him to sit through the entire thing with itinerary, plans for
Mhm.
cars, flights, options for like lodging, the whole nine,
Yeah.
as if he's going to participate.
Right, yeah, as if he has, like, any say in anything whatsoever, but no, I didn't do a PowerPoint. We had talked about this like, somewhat previously, but not with any, like, real, like, seriousness. So, he just was like, "Yeah, fine, like, you wanna go on vacation, this is the one you wanna go on, I'll be there." So, no
Great.
PowerPoint this time, but it was definitely like, I just woke up and I was like, we're going." So, anyway,
You've been having
that's,
that itch for a while though to just like get out and do something, and a work trip
yes.
doesn't really count. Like I know you like Indianapolis, but you've been there a million times, so
Yeah,
do
yeah,
something
so
different. That's exciting.
yeah, and, we love it in Arizona, so very, very
Yeah.
excited to be back out there and get my Dutch Bros coffee, and
You are a whore for Dutch Bros, and
y
I one day I will figure it out whenever I have it, but I'm glad that you're gonna at least get to go get some. You know what? I'm actually a little busy this week too, but
yeah,
I could not be more thrilled. We get to hang out on Friday.
I know,
Like, we get to
thank
podcast
God.
today, and in less than a week, we get to hang out. It's the first time we're hanging out in person in months, surely. I think it's been a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, so I definitely want to talk about what you have going on this week. It's, like, kind of the biggest week of your
It's
life.
it's kind of the biggest week of my life thus far.
Mhm.
So, on Monday, I will find out if I'm matched into a residency program, and then on Friday, we have a really big ceremony, and I will get basically bid day part 2, where I'll get
Yeah.
an envelope and I'll get to open it and figure out where I go, and then I'll get to walk on stage and announce it, and then they have a cute little map, and you get to put a push pin where you're going on the map. And so it's just really fun because we get to see where everyone else is going and what specialties they matched into. So, needless to say, I'm booked this week, but like
Yeah.
it's a very happy, busy because I technically am supposed to be in the ER this week working the whole time, but they were like, if you have match day activities, just skip. Well,
Yeah.
when the School of Medicine sent us our match day activities sheet, it's all day, every day, like 1 to 10 p.m. is like options for us to do. So I'm like, yeah, you're not going to
Oh,
see me after
wow.
1. Like, even if I don't go to the event, I will not be at work.
No, because you shouldn't have to. Like, it's literally such an important
Like, I will be
week.
under contract for a job. I won't know where until
Right.
Friday, but Monday I get that email.
Oh
I
my
have a job. You can't do
god.
anything
Ash,
to change that.
seriously, I'm so excited. Like, it is, like, the biggest deal. I almost, like, start crying. I really am going to, but I almost get emotional every time I think about it because I'm like, "Oh, no, I can't. I'm not gonna do that." Okay, anyway, I'm excited,
I'm so
and
excited that you're getting to make it and Hoyt gets to come. And I don't know. It's just going to be great vibes the whole weekend.
yeah.
Because Friday is also St. Patrick's Day, so there'll be like stuff to do downtown. It won't just be like, we invite all of our friends over and there's nothing to do. Like, it'll be a fun weekend to
Right.
be here in Birmingham anyway. So it really works out. I am so excited to see you. I think I'm most excited, or like not excited, but more ready for Monday to happen.
Yeah.
Just because tomorrow, after we all get the email, we'll have like that
The
sigh of
weight's off.
relief.
Yeah. You know
Yeah.
you're
You're
employed or
like,
you're not.
exactly. And so if the answer is no, we have Tuesday to Thursday to figure that out. But I'm not going to plan for that
No,
at the moment.
you're going to match, like, I'm sure the girlies are fighting tooth and nail over who's gonna
Over
get
where I'm gonna
you.
go. Yeah. I like to
Yeah,
plan that
and
too.
they are, but I'm like so freaking excited for you to find out. Obviously, you kind of know where you're hoping to go,
Yes. I'm
and
not
we
gonna say it
have
on air because I don't want
no,
it to end up not working out, but you guys will all know by the time
yeah,
next week rolls around. And by the time
yeah,
we have our next episode filmed, I'll know where I'm moving for the
which
next
is
5 years.
crazy.
So crazy. It's such a weird
It's
unknown right
insane.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for something that's such a huge, like, life thing to just, like, not know where that's located at is actually, like, a little
It's
bit
a little
psychotic.
unnerving. Yeah, yeah. I remember in December and November, like, I was kinda in the middle of interview process for everywhere. I, like, couldn't make a decision. Do I wanna stay in Alabama? I've been here forever. I love the people.
Mhm.
Or do I wanna do something new and different? And so I was so, so stressed. I gave myself a stomach ulcer. Like, actually.
I
You remember
forgot
that? It was
about that.
crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
that's gone, thank God.
Yeah.
And I'm just, like, letting go of, like, the stress of it and just saying, like, wherever I end up will be fun. And luckily, Jake works from home, so he can go wherever. There's no stress about his job, and he's excited no matter
Yeah.
what. Like, he'll be excited to stay here, he'll be excited to move away, and so
Right.
there's not really a reason to stress, thankfully.
No, not
So
at all, but we are extremely I don't wanna, like, this is, like, a really big day for me
it
too, you
is. This is the one
know?
of the biggest things that's happened to Katie in a long time.
Literally, which honestly is a testament to how very, very little I have going on in my life. But I'm just like, obviously, I'm so freaking proud of you. Like,
Thank you.
I
I'm, like,
absolutely
so
can't
I can't
wait.
even believe that it's here. I've
Yeah.
been waiting on this exact day since I was a senior in college, so it's pretty
Yeah.
crazy to think about.
Yeah. It has felt like it was literally never going to happen. But, then on Friday, once you find out, the clock starts again to when you are going to be like an actual real doc. You're just kind of like
Yeah,
stepping into the next phase of
correct. So
the
5 years
million.
from June, and then I'll be, like, actually practicing and
Right.
figure out where I'm gonna live, like, for the rest of my life. So, it's
Yeah.
all gonna be so fun. And so that's all happening this week, but we
Yep.
had a big week in the book talk world last week on Thursday, and I've been wanting to share this news with Katie, but I thought it'd be more funny to get her, like, raw reaction on the podcast. I don't think that she knows what I'm talking about, but all I put
No.
in the description is SJM and Jennifer Armentrout.
Hmm.
So, for those of y'all who don't know, Jennifer Armentrout wrote the From Blood and Ash series, along with many, many other books of hers that I have not read, but she also has a From Blood and Ash prequel series that is she's currently working on. And a couple of the other books within these series are coming out this year. She does not sleep. All she does is write. I don't know if she eats, but she has multiple books coming out this year.
Hmm.
And she announced on Thursday that there will be a TV show for the From Blood and Ash series coming out with Amazon. And the quote is, "We are thrilled to work with Anne and Amazon Studios, who have the vision and the creative capacity to bring every corner of this phenomenal world Jennifer has created to life." Ryan and Hex said in a statement, blah, blah, blah. "Our heroine, Poppy, and the characters that surround her in this rich world are the elements that expand and perpetuate properties into franchise entertainment." That was, like, the statement that was on
Hmm.
this outlet that I saw. So I get on Book Talk. Everyone's excited about From Blood and Ash series. Of course, it's a big deal. It's just
Yeah.
like, I could not be more happy for her. Like, that series is the whole reason why I got into reading anyway. So, like,
Right.
could not have picked a better person for this to happen to. On that same day, Thursday, Bloomsbury adds Crescent City 3 to their pre-order list with an expected release date of January 30th, 2024. No official title was released, although House of Many Waters should be the next one if she's going with the beginning of the book.
Yeah.
With no cover photo. It's just available for pre-order,
Okay.
and that's the expected release date. Now, coincidence or not is the question. Because there's no cover photo, there hasn't been an utterance of this book on SJM's personal
Right.
like social media or her website or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't an official statement from Sarah J. Maas. It was just a very sneaky release on Bloomsbury.
Mm.
So, like, no title, no, it just says Crescent City 3 pre-order. You can like literally check out with it. It just says expected release January 30th, which to me feels so late. House of Sky and Breath came
Yeah.
out like last May.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I did not hear either of those things. For me personally, because I have not read From Blood and Ash, I'm obviously way more excited about Crescent City. But we are talking about doing From Blood and Ash soon.
Mm-hmm.
That is so freaking exciting. I'm so happy for her because
I also think
obviously,
Amazon is such a score because from what I've heard,
yes.
they let the writers have a lot more creative direction of the series,
Okay.
which I've heard that with Hulu. Is that who Sarah J. Maas has sold the rights
Yeah.
to? Things like are a little bit rocky, and I think that can happen if you're not following the writers like
Right.
books and her vision for the series. And so
Right.
with Amazon, I've just heard better things. So I think that's like a huge score for Jennifer. I'm like so excited for her, but I don't think it's a coincidence.
No,
I
I
just don't.
completely agree. Yeah, I feel like somehow this is coordinated. I don't know if they like work with like the same publisher. Something happened because there's no way that just by happenstance they had two gigantic announcements come out on the exact same day.
And that's what I don't
Who
get is like Jennifer Armentrout's was like articles, interviews.
yeah.
Sarah J. Maas never announced
Mm,
anything. It just like popped up on Bloomsbury. So I'm like, this is like a little bit weird. But
okay,
I'm wondering
yeah.
if it was just like, hey, I also want to be relevant. Drop this,
Right.
and the real fans will see it.
Right. Yeah, no, I definitely agree, especially if because obviously the From Blood and Ash was like a huge deal. If there's like all kinds of stuff coming out about it, that was obviously like premeditated, but it does feel like the Crescent City one was more of just like oh shit, she came out with this.
Yeah,
Like I've got to
that's what it
say
feels like, a
something.
scramble to like
Yeah.
get news out about it. But yeah,
Yeah. Okay. That
so
is
that
so
is
freaking
big on TikTok
exciting.
right now. So if you see
Okay.
anything that's like the girlies are talking about whether they think it's coincidence or not as well.
Okay. Well,
So that's
I'm
kind of all the
very
news I have today.
okay. That is so very, very, very exciting. And honestly, I'm happy to have like some kind of date timeline for Crescent City because that helps us
Yes,
with
absolutely. With like
what we need
planning
to
on what
read
we're
and
gonna read
when.
and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So obviously from Blood and Ash. Plus, I know that she's got, I believe one of the release dates is December of this year for Jennifer Armentrout something. Again, I'm
I
not
think you're
familiar
right,
with these
yeah. It's either
series.
November or
So
December. Yeah.
yeah. She's got something coming out later in the year. So hopefully by then we'll have gone through everything and we can kind of be
I'm kind of
ready.
pissed. I really thought that she was gonna release it, like, with the release date, and it was gonna be soon, like, in the fall, because I
Hmm.
am literally dying to get back into ACOTAR. Like, I
Yeah.
want to reread it right now, but if I do, there's no way for me to I'm not gonna reread it
Yeah.
again.
No. We're absolutely gonna have to wait until like
Yeah.
there's something a little bit more concrete, but at least we have like some kind of timeline. That is so
That's true.
exciting. I don't know how
Yes.
I did not stumble upon this because obviously our like TikTok is exclusively books. So how I did not
I
see
have no
this.
idea either because when I got on there, it was almost everything that I had scrolled
Really?
past. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well,
So,
hopefully
very
more to
interesting.
come. Yeah, this week, hopefully they will give us some more detail, at least Miss Sarah J, because like you're really
Please.
gonna give the Akatar crew that kind of teaser and then like
And not
silent?
say anything, not like follow up. Yeah. No, we
Mm,
cannot be sated with just that little bit of a thing. And it also says expected release date. It does not say like official release date.
right.
So it's
Okay.
definitely subject to change.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So that's kind of all the news I had today. I'm so excited to talk about our first book,
Yeah.
The Serpent and the Wings of the Night by Carissa Broadbent. We're going to do some crowd reviews of the
Yeah.
book. We had a message box on our Instagram, and we had a couple of people reach out and just kind of give their reviews. These are spoiler free. So if you haven't read the book yet, this is just sort of like a general overview or general
Yeah.
thoughts on the book. So if you
Yeah.
want to go ahead and read yours first, Katie.
Okay, so this one says The Serpent and the Wings of Night has big Hunger Games X Twilight vibes. I enjoyed the slow burn tension between the two mains, Rain and Araya. I think the ending makes this book with a huge plot twist where the bad gets badder. There's no clear villain, and I love me a strong heroine, period.
Period. That's such a good review. That's kind of like
Yeah,
both of the reviews that I saw, I agree with. So here's the second one.
yeah,
And we're always going to keep these anonymous. So at any point you want to send us one, just DM us. Um, this person says, This is honestly the first book I have read that has filled the hole in my heart that was left after finishing Akatar, Crescent City, and Throne of Glass. This book is what a fantasy should be. The storyline is incredible. Shout out to my Hunger Games obsession in middle school. And the
hmm.
characters all have so much dimension. I honestly had no clue who was actually loyal to who, and the twist at the end really shocked me. I am pumped for the second book. It can't get here fast enough. And that is coming out in just a couple days.
Oh my God, you're right.
The
It's
15th.
so soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think she killed it. I would definitely agree with that this really can bring you back. It gives you faith in fantasy as a
Yes.
genre
Or
again.
rather, romantasy, as people are calling it, which makes
Yeah.
more sense because the fantasy people are just, they're different. Like they don't need the romance.
True. True.
I like
Yeah.
romantasy for a title of genre because that just makes
Yeah.
it's more congruent with what I want in a book.
Totally, totally. They really should like make that like the official word so it would be easier to like search on Goodreads
That's
for.
so true. Instead of fantasy and romance or romance
Right,
and fantasy.
right. Yeah, I wish. Okay, never mind. I was gonna get into a Goodreads tangent about trying to find new books because I feel like you need to be able to like filter results, like tag,
I know.
like tag female author, tag female main character, tag romance, whatever, whenever you're trying to search. But um anyway.
Yes, I totally
All
get it.
right.
Goodreads can be good or bad, but yeah, let's go ahead and get into. You have the author biography and then we'll talk about her other series that she has been
Yeah.
writing.
Okay, so this book is written by Carissa Broadbent. She lives in Rhode Island, which is like so like cute. Like I feel like that's where
That is
fantasy
really
authors
cute.
live. Yeah.
Yeah, in Rhode Island or
Um
Connecticut or something.
right. Yeah, somewhere on like the coast, something like that. Okay. She is self-published, which is insane. Like
Like probably the best self-published author I've read.
mhm.
Also, by light years, the best Kindle Unlimited author I've read. Like some of the free
Totally.
ones are total trash.
Yeah.
And it's like it's free, so what am I gonna do? Complain about it? But like like she's amazing and it being free on Kindle Unlimited and self-published.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
have no notes for her.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so this series is actually not her debut novel. She has a prior trilogy called the War of Lost Hearts series, which I am currently reading. And if you listen to our first episode, I mentioned that I was on the second book of the series. I don't know the name. By the way, one thing about me, I don't know the names of second or third. I only know the first name of a series. And after that, you cannot catch me knowing the title of any of the following books.
I'm so glad that we brought this up because whenever we read ACOTAR together, if you're watching on audio, you can see them. arranged in by their
Mhm.
color. And so my sister had read them and she refused to learn the titles. So for her, it was red book, blue book, pink book, small book, orange book. Okay. That's how it was. And
Mhm.
to me, I know the names. I'm like Akatar, Akawar, whatever.
Mhm.
For Katie, it is Akatar 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So depending on who you're talking to, you really have to just figure out where they're at in their
Right.
understanding. But Katie, I tried to do the color thing, but she reads it on Kindle, so she doesn't see the color very often.
Mhm.
So when I'm like, "Oh, was it the pink book?" She's like, "How would I know that?"
No, no. No, I couldn't tell you. It's the third one, and that's
Yeah.
the extent of it. So, I wanted to give an update on the second book. When I talked about it last time, I said that I was like 20% in. It was okay, but like I wasn't fully through it. I felt like I was just getting into like the real meat of the story. So I couldn't give like a full review. Girls, you have to read this book. I just finished the second one last night. It's the ending is so fucking good. Like it's beyond like every wish, every desire that I had came through, and now we're in it. So I just wanted to give that update so that no one would be upset with me for saying that it wasn't fantastic, because like it totally is.
Yeah, I've had a couple other friends recommend those books as
Mhm.
well, and I was wondering that because I feel like sometimes fantasy just takes a little bit for you to get really
Yeah.
into it, and so I guess that's what it was, like, you just had to really get into the thick of it to decide that it was worth your time. But I'm
Yeah.
glad it's getting
So
good, I really wanna read it.
I just started the third one last night. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic, especially because so many people have raved about it. And I believe the third book has really good reviews. Again, the title of the third book, I literally could not even guess. I have no idea. But rounding out the Carissa Broadbent summary, she also has a 4-part prequel coming soon per her website. We are not completely sure if 4 parts means 4 books or like a a book that has 4 different sections within the
Yeah, like
one
Assassin's
book.
Blade, where it has, like, those different little
Yeah.
chapters that are all or those different little sections that are all different stories.
Yeah.
It wasn't clear on her website, it says 4-part, but there's only 1 book named, so I'm like, "Who knows?"
Yeah.
But
So,
regardless, there will be a prequel to this series and then also the
mhm.
second part of the Serpent and Wings of Night series that comes out this week.
Yeah. Oh, and there's also another novella that's part of the Obatreus world, which is the world within this book, The Serpent and the Wings of Night, that is coming out soon as well. So,
Dang, she's been working.
yeah, and she keeps posting on Instagram that she's like in a deadline hole. I don't know what she's writing, but like the girl is working. She's also pregnant. So the girl's
Jesus.
putting in work. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
she
right.
sure is.
Let's move on. We're going to do just kind of like a very brief overview summary of the book, and then we'll start to get into our thoughts. So we should give a warning. If you
Yes, if
have
you have
not,
not read the book, there are
stop listening.
spoilers.
Yeah. Well, unless
You
you
know you
mm,
know we hate spoilers at the club. If you have not read it,
don't like turn
stop
it off. I
here.
mean, you don't have to. If you want to know what happens, go for it. But if you don't want to know, like we warned you. Like
Yeah,
turn
we're gonna give a
off.
lot of detail.
Yeah. Okay. Should we get started?
Yeah, so basically we just pulled up the synopsis from Amazon and then added a little bit
Mhm.
to it just so it could be like a more well-rounded summary because we didn't really want to go into every single detail, but we wanted a better summary. These synopses are like really revealing though. So even if I was going to read the book, I would never want to read this because it would tell you 90% of the plot.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's more of a summary than like here's
Yeah.
a little
Then
bit
a
about the
preview.
book. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally agree. All right,
Yeah.
so let's get into it. So it starts off. The adopted human daughter of the nightborn vampire King Araya carved her place in a world designed to kill her.
She's a human who the King Vincent found in the rubble of a human village during a war. She was not able to leave the palace, to Vincent's knowledge, because of the threat that vampires posed to her.
Her only chance to become something more than prey is entering the Kajari, a legendary tournament held by the goddess of death herself.
The Kajari is a 5-part competition in which each trial takes place with a certain phase of the moon. They represent Nyaxia, the goddess of death's journey to becoming a goddess. Her goal is to win the Kajari and receive a wish from Nyaxia, one she would use to bond herself to Vincent, granting her immortality and power. This will allow her to visit her human city, Salinae, to search for lost relatives and protect its inhabitants. Vincent has been training her since she was old enough. He's savage, brutal, and has prepared her to win. She is placed in the Moon Palace to await the trials, locking her indoors with bloodthirsty, dangerous vampires.
But winning won't be easy amongst the most vicious warriors from all three vampire houses. To survive, Araya is forced to make an alliance with a mysterious rival. Everything about Rain is dangerous. He's a ruthless vampire, an efficient killer, an enemy to her father's crown, and her greatest competition. Yet what terrifies Araya most of all is that she finds herself oddly drawn to him.
They have to form an alliance for the 4th trial. He's of a different breed of vampire than her father, the kind who are currently leading the brewing rebellion against King Vincent. He and his partner Misha save Aurea from a vampire attack and eventually help her harness her magic. In order to prepare for the 4th trial, they train as a unit in the human villages, killing predatory vampires and learning how to operate as a team.
But there's no room for compassion in the Kajari. War for the House of Night brews, shattering everything that Araya thought she knew about her home, and Rain may understand her more than anyone, but their blossoming attraction could be her downfall in a kingdom where nothing is more deadly than love.
Aurea and Rain slowly begin to develop a connection after Misha gets injured during a rebel attack on the Moon Palace. She must withdraw from the Kajari. In the 4th trial, Aurea discovers that the war happening around them, led by Vincent, has demolished Salinae, ruining her chances of ever returning. As her relationship with Rain is developing, the one she once had with Vincent is running cold. At the final trial, she must choose victory, which entails killing Rain, or death. In the end, she asks Nyaxia for Rain to win the Kajari. He reveals that he is the heir to the Rishon crown and direct opponent to her father. His wish is for Nyaxia to restore the Rishon reign to the Nightborn vampires. He kills Vincent, and it is then
Mhm.
revealed that Aurea is an heir to the Nightborn throne, meaning that Vincent was her real father and she is half vampire. This, in turn, makes her Rain's direct opponent, and to the dismay of his followers, he must marry her and forge their alliance. And that is
Ooh.
literally how the book ends. Like,
Yeah.
he kind of forces her to marry him because his followers, now knowing that she's an heir to the throne, want him to murder her. They're like, cut her head
Hmm.
off now, save yourself the time later on in this war,
Right.
and just like end it here.
Yeah,
But
which is like,
the issue is
like,
that they're like literally in love with each other.
yeah, and like that's so rude of those people, especially given the fact that like if it wasn't for her, his ass would still be dead. So like put some respect on her name.
Yeah, put some respect on her name. I mean, it's not like he didn't let her win. He definitely let her win the
Right.
last trial.
Right.
But at the same time, if this guy is willing to give up his life for her, what makes you think he's going to kill her?
Yeah, I
Get
don't
your
know.
shit
The
together.
the ending was so good, and I'm like, thank God we don't have to wait long for the second book to come
Oh my
out
god, I know.
because
I would not
I'm
last. I
I'm
need it.
so excited. Like the ending was it was like chef's freaking kiss because while Rain needs to grovel, Araya like isn't you know how like younger like main characters they will like storm off cause this big huge gigantic scene like they won't hear him out. She heard him out at the end, and I'm honestly praying that there's not we don't have half a book before they come back to one
Yeah.
another.
Yeah, I get that. I do love the little bit of discourse because he was obviously
Mhm.
hiding this from her for so
Right.
long that she has a right to just be like questioning their whole entire relationship because
Yeah.
from day one, he was very interested in becoming her partner. And it was much more than a romance thing. You could tell that he knew that she was connected to Vincent, and
Mhm.
his whole goal was to kill Vincent in the end anyway. And so
Yeah.
I think she like has this weird like apprehensiveness of him, and rightfully so. But to
Right.
me, I love that because I'm like an enemies to lovers bitch. Like you like that's
Yeah.
my favorite thing. And they weren't really enemies before this. They were opponents,
Right.
but there was
Right.
never any like actual issues. I mean, they had like one little tiff, but
Yeah.
not enough to be enemies. And so now I think I like it more.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It definitely like I love this because then when you get the build up again, like part 2.
Yes, it's like round
And
2, but they're not, like,
mhm,
stuck in that weird, crazy place, they're, like, living their
right.
normal life.
Right, exactly, and they already know each other, like, and I
Mhm.
just I love the way that it ended. You obviously have, like, the plot twist, like, she's actually Vincent's daughter. That threw me. Mm,
That
I don't wanna say I didn't see it coming because I knew well, she makes it obvious, like, some shit is up, but you don't know exactly what. So, for that to be what it was.
yeah, she knows that something's going on with Vincent, she just can't really tell what it is, and
Right.
to me, like, I was always kinda weirded out by Vincent, like, what the fuck was his
Mhm.
motive, and we're gonna do a character lineup after this, and
Yeah.
we'll kinda get into the nitty-gritty of each character, but I was always a little bit weirded out by this whole thing, but it made so much more sense in
Yeah.
retrospect,
Yeah.
so, I'm not really, like I'm surprised by her being half vampire, but I'm not
Mhm.
surprised that there was a motive.
Yeah,
Like, there
absolutely.
had to be. What do you think the implications of her being half vampire are going to be? Like, what is your
Okay.
predictions for this half vampire thing? Oh, and also, can we talk about how you kinda thought she was vampire earlier in the series or in the book? Because I didn't even pick up on this.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, I I'm more curious. I, like, don't wanna actually make a prediction because my mind is still reeling as to what does, like, her being half vampire mean for her, like, lifespan more than anything.
Yeah.
I do still feel like she's gonna have to be turned if that's what it's gonna be called for her since she already, like, technically is half vampire. Um,
Yeah.
I do think that she's gonna, like, have to go through that. Maybe it won't be, like, as bad because she
That's kinda what
already.
I was wondering is, like,
Yeah.
she's not full vampire, so maybe she still needs to
Right.
be turned to, like to get full immortality, but it makes sense because she had powers and most humans don't. So that's all
Yeah.
like checking out. But at the same time, I'm like, well, if 75% of people die when they get turned, but they're just human.
Mhm.
For her having half vampire blood, it should have some sort of protective factor.
Yeah, that's kinda what I'm hoping, but I did start to pick up on the fact that she might be half vampire when I think it's when they're in the cave and she draws blood, um, on Rain. Is that when it happens when they're in the
Yeah.
cave?
Hmm.
Okay, and she, like, licks his blood and she thinks it tastes good? That's, like, not normal for a human, so at that point, I was like, "That is a little bit bizarre." The fact that she was like which granted, like, with the vampire bites, like, it gives humans, like, a state of euphoria and everything feels good and everything, so maybe that's all that was, but to me, that, like, my ears perked up at
Yeah.
that point in time.
Yeah. And I think that is some like, benefit that you get of not having ever read a vampire book
Mhm.
because whenever I've read other ones and it's like, "Oh, well, she's just in some kind of weird frenzied state because she's, like, under the
Right.
influence of the venom or
Yeah.
whatever," then I didn't even think about it, and so whenever Katie told me this, y'all, I was, like, mind blown. I was like, "Holy
Mm.
shit, how did I miss that?" But this is why we chit chat about these books all the time
Yeah, but
because
you
you
had
will
a
miss
moment
stuff.
Right, but you had a little bit of a moment too when they were flying.
Okay, yeah, yeah, whenever Rain picked her up and flew her back to the Moon Palace, she, like, loved it, and he was saying that how people usually respond is they either hate it or they, like, throw up and, like, all this stuff,
Mhm,
so I was like, "Oh, well, that's a good thing," because I think now whenever she gets turned, like, I'm just assuming that she's going to get turned at this point,
mhm.
she'll like flying already, she'll be used to
Yeah,
it, and so that I
yeah.
thought that was, like, foreshadowing her getting turned.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. Alright, should we move on to our, like, character
Yes, let's do it. Character
breakdown?
line up.
Alright, so first up, we've got Vincent. Now well, she makes you skeptical of him at the beginning, but you were mega like, "What is this guy's deal?"
Yeah. Yeah, so Vincent okay, I also organized these in the way that they, like, pop up in the series.
Mhm.
So we started with
Yeah.
Vincent because it's, like, the opening scene is just Vincent finding this little kid in this war that we know nothing about. It's, like, rubble, and he's, like this, like, love overcomes him.
Right.
And whenever you get to know him later in the book, he's like a freaking savage. He's so hardcore and cutthroat. You're like, why does he have this soft spot for a human? Like, he literally feasts on these humans.
Yeah.
And it's revealed, like, later on that he was also, like, funneling in all of these humans from Araya's hometown of
Mhm.
Selene to feed his armies. So he doesn't have, like, a huge soft spot for her, really. He doesn't
Right.
respect what she wants. And
Right.
so I was always, like, kind of weirded out by him, and then
Mhm.
I think what really kind of put the nail in the casket for me before that is all revealed that he's actually a horrible fucking being,
Yeah.
is that there was no way for her to continue her pursuit of
Mhm.
Rain and keep Vincent, like, as
Yeah.
her mentor. And
Yeah.
I'm always gonna pick Rain. Like, I'm not gonna
Duh.
have this man who raised you and held you captive in a castle for your protection. I'm
Right.
not gonna pick him over this guy who's, like, the best. So,
Right. Her,
I was like,
like,
"Bye,
her
Vincent."
true love, especially because, like, she got to pick
Yeah.
Rain. She didn't get to pick Vincent, so, like, he's out.
Yeah. And so that, like it just kinda she did it really well, the author, like, she made you a little
Yeah.
skeptical, and then she made you like him, and then she made you more skeptical, like, they would have arranged meetings during the Kajari where he would, like, help her
Right.
give her advice or whatever, but it was always very stern, not very helpful advice. It
Mhm.
was just like, "You need to focus, you need to do better, you need to harness your magic,"
Yeah.
and you find out that, like, he's pretty stifling to her. Like, some of the things that he taught her were definitely helpful and saved her life more than one
Mhm.
time, but at the end, it was like she wasn't able to use her fear in a way that, like, helped her use her magic. She was just
Yeah.
controlling it from, like, an objective standpoint, and so when Rain helps her figure out how to use her magic, I was like, "Okay, no need for Vincent anymore, like, see you
Right.
later."
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. And Vincent, obviously, like, if you've read fantasy, you pick up from the beginning that, like, there's going to be a betrayal somewhere
There's
down the
there's never not a
line.
betrayal.
Right. And so, like, you're obviously thinking like it's going to be from Vincent, you don't necessarily know how. One of the things about Vincent, because I obviously felt that way, but what's unique about him, in terms of like compared to other fantasy betrayers, is that he genuinely like loves Aurea. Like all that he wants is for her to be safe and to survive. And like obviously you later find out that she's his daughter. So
There is an element of, like, he does care about her,
yeah.
which
So I
makes it
was like,
hard.
yeah, it makes it hard because he's gonna betray her. And like I knew that I wanted Rain to like come out on top, but I was kind of just I was like, Vincent, don't, like, please don't do that. There's still hope for you in this moment.
Yeah.
And, but nevertheless,
He
he did.
persisted.
Yeah. All right, let's
The
move
next
on.
person okay,
Yep.
the next one we have is just Aurea. We've already kind of mentioned how much we like her. She's 23
Mhm.
years old. This is not one of these little 18, 17-year-old heroines that comes
Mhm.
in untrained. Like she has been training for this Kajari forever.
Mhm.
She's very confident in her ability to win. And she's very, very, very mature. Like she is
Yeah.
with the shits.
She is, and that is actually what I love the most about her in terms of she's so competent. She already knows what she's doing. A lot of like heroines, they like start out, they are not trained in, warfare or like combat, or they don't know how to use their magic. And obviously, she has a lot to learn with her magic, but it keeps having these things where like Vincent's talking to her in the back of her mind and like she already knows all of this stuff. She goes
Yeah.
into the Kajari with confidence. She knows what the hell she's doing. And that's what I love so much about her. And I just feel like she's so much more level headed. She sees things a lot more clearly. She's not just like irrational. Her emotions aren't super volatile. She is able to keep her composure, which obviously like is a big part of why she wins the Kajari. She's so freaking clever.
Yeah.
But I absolutely loved that, and I like to think that that's all attributed to the fact that she is a little bit older than because normally the
Yeah.
girls are literally 18 in these
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah. And she's also like seen some shit. She
Hmm.
literally has been going to the human villages that are close to the castle and protecting the humans in secret
Yeah.
from these vampires, basically like killing them off. The
Hmm.
ones that are going in there just trying to get a quick meal. And so I think that her using the training that she has to protect other people is like such a good quality. It's all she wants to
Hmm.
do is like go back to the humans and help them because she just knows what it's like to be helpless.
Yeah.
And I really, really enjoyed her character because she's not just headstrong and wanting to win this thing. Like she has really good motivation for
Yeah.
it. And she tries to see the best in people as much as she can. We really saw that with her relationship with Vincent.
Hmm.
And it was just like, yeah, she did her best to keep that afloat.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. She just honestly like is one of the best female main characters of all the books that
Yeah,
I have
she's
read.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like the best mix of Feyre and Nesta that you can get.
Yes, yeah,
She's
she's
definitely
savage.
Enneagram 8 though. Like she did have some times where between her and Rain whenever they were fighting, it was like definitely a little bit crazy.
Yeah, she's
But I
like
liked
she's
it.
well, of course she did, but yeah, she's super headstrong, and she, as most Enneagram 8s are, they have to grow up too quickly, and obviously for her, like, she lives in a world that is literally dangerous for her, like, she
For
has to
her, yeah, just to
learn.
like live just to live. Yeah.
Right. She has to learn how to protect herself from the time that she is born. So it's definitely giving Enneagram 8, which is fantastic. Again, I feel like a lot of female main characters are Enneagram 8s
Yeah.
because like they
Or
are
threes. I
so
feel like they get a lot of threes too.
true, true. But yeah, she's really headstrong. She's fighting for what she believes is right,
Mhm.
which is giving 1. But yeah, Araya, like she really is just a top tier main character. I have no notes.
Yeah, she's great. The next character we have to discuss is Ilana. Ilana kind of just comes onto the scene quickly and then disappears.
Mhm.
She is like Oraya's only human friend. She lives in the human villages, but kind of between the villages and the castle. She lives in this area where blood donors can live. And so I think Alana's a badass. She's like this older, a little bit rough human. And she chooses, instead of being afraid of the vampires killing her at all times, like in the human villages, she decides to donate her blood to really powerful vampires in exchange for safety and money,
Right.
which I love. I think that's
Yeah.
hilarious. And also, like,
Queen.
it's mutually beneficial.
Right.
So, I love her. She was not a fan of Vincent. She did not think that Aurelia should enter the Kajari because she thought that the motivations of her winning, like to tie herself to Vincent, were really just going to benefit him and not Aurelia.
Yeah.
And we find out later that that's so true.
Right. It was definitely a
So,
foreshadowing
yeah, it
moment.
was a foreshadowing moment. I loved her. I would have loved more of her.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she does literally die the chapter after you meet her.
Rip.
And But the good thing is that like with her death kind of solidified to Araya that like people don't give a fuck about humans, and no
Mhm.
matter if she wins this thing or not, like she has work to do within
Yeah.
this world to get a little bit of safety for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So I felt like her Araya's scene with Alana was foreshadowing that she was gonna die. Like I don't know. That's just how I picked up on it. Obviously, like I loved her too. I love that she's just like a smoker. Like
Oh
she's
my
giving
god,
Trailer
yes.
Park a little bit, but in
She
like the
is
best
giving a little bit.
way.
I feel like she's
But
giving Parisian, like smoker, really
yeah, yeah, yeah,
skinny,
yeah,
like
yeah,
really crass. I don't
yeah.
know. I like her.
No, that's a good thought too. But yeah, I felt like this was kind of like foreshadowing that she was gonna die, that this was gonna be a big part of it was the vampires like literally not caring about the humans any
Mhm.
whatsoever. But it was definitely brutal whenever, she
Yeah.
finds out that
The
Ilana
first night
dies.
that she's there too, I think it was like
Yeah.
a huge wake up call for her.
Yeah, totally. One thing that we should mention that we talked about is obviously Alana, like in that very first scene, gives Araya a scarf or like some slip of fabric, which after Alana dies, Araya
No,
then
she finds it on
wears.
her dead body.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
in the
That's
Moon
right.
Palace.
Okay. And it gets blood all over it and it's like burnt.
It's
And
what she's
then,
wearing when she dies, and then Araya burns the
yeah,
body. So there's burnt
yeah.
scraps of the fabric, there's blood all over it, but Araya keeps it as like a keepsake.
Yeah, and she wears it to the, like, really nice dinner after one of the trials, I forget which I think it was after the
Yeah.
4th trial. Not a fan. It's, like,
No,
ruined
it
the
ruined the
film.
moment.
Like, don't I get it. I get it. I really do. Like, she's trying to make a
Yeah,
statement, but, like,
yeah.
no.
It's
That's
giving
disgusting.
Bella in the prom dress with the leggings underneath. Like, if you would just not add that last little thing, you would have been great.
Yeah,
It's
no.
bad.
Yeah.
So anyway, justice for Alana.
Yeah.
The next character that we come into contact with is Ibrahim.
Mhm.
And Ibrahim is like one of the nightborn vampires who Araya grew up like knowing because his family is very powerful.
Mhm.
Um, but his parents are in a position of power and they don't want him to become an heir and like challenge them. So they like fucked up his wings whenever he was younger.
Mm.
So he couldn't really use them, which is really sad. And also his leg. So
Yeah.
basically, it's kind of revealed that a lot of vampire families do that to their children so that they don't have to kill them because if
Yeah.
you're an heir then your children are now like have the opportunity to take control of like the title as
Mhm.
heir, and so a lot of people will literally just kill their children and they didn't want to do that so they just fucked him up and were like good luck trying to fight us for the title.
Right.
So that's like she knows him and she sees him on the first night and she kind of underestimates him. I think a lot
Yeah.
of people do,
Yeah.
but he's a really good character in my opinion.
Yeah, okay, and I just had a thought that I hadn't thought about before, and, I forgot what it was, but one thing about Ibrahim is that I feel like his story is, like, not over somehow. Like, I felt like he got brought into it too much to just
So
die.
much. I agree.
Yeah. He just, like, dies and then
So I think
it
now that Vincent is dead and Araya is now the Nightborn heir or one of the Nightborn heirs,
mhm.
I think his family's going to try to get involved
So it's
somehow.
gotta be, yeah, it's gotta be something about that, something about his family, is gonna have to, like, come into play with it somehow because I just felt like he was made so relevant in the story, like, he keeps coming back and keeps coming back. I don't feel like he is just gonna be, like, a character that just, like, dies off after the first book and then, like, his story is over and done with. Like, there's got
Yeah.
to be something more, but yeah, RIP to Ibrahim. They really
Oh,
did underestimate him.
they did. He made it all the way to the very last trial,
Mhm,
like fighting tooth and nail, barely survived like the other two trials.
mhm.
Araya had like personally gone after him multiple times. thought she
Yeah.
killed him in a previous trial, but then at the end, it's actually her who has to kill him,
Mhm.
and he's like, "I'm happy it was you." And so that was, like,
Yeah.
really good closure for me because
I
I didn't want him to
know.
die. I thought he was such a good character.
I
So,
know. I know. I would love to just, like, know more about him and his oh, I know what I was gonna say. I'm so curious to know what his wish was. I would assume it would be to have his
usurp his dad or whatever.
yeah, yeah, or, like, be able to, like, like, not be fucked up anymore.
Mhm.
That's what I just thought about. So, yeah, RIP to Ibrahim.
He was a real
I
one.
He was a real one, and I really, really hope that we somehow he comes back around at a later point.
Yes. Okay, next up is Rain, and
My
I will say
man.
I'm very happy that Carissa Broadbent, if you go on her Instagram, she has highlight reels of how to pronounce every character's name. So
Mm,
Rain is spelled Raihn, and all of these other characters have really cool, like non-Western names,
mhm,
not really, well, besides Vincent, but like not really
yeah.
common words. So I was pronouncing it as Rain because I
Mm.
thought it sounded better, and then
It
to
does.
find out that it actually is Rain kinda takes him down a notch to me, but
Yeah,
regardless, this is a great male love interest character. Like, he was
yeah.
from the first time they met, he was mysterious and
Oh,
cool and helpful even. Like, I really
yeah.
liked his character.
Yeah, her description of him, like, at the very beginning when he's getting introduced was so good, like, drooling just from the very
Yes.
first
And
minute,
they
and
never spoke, it was just, like, him staring off to the side of the room at her, and it was
yeah.
just
It
you
was so
knew.
good. Oh, yeah, you knew immediately, and I love that, like, the love interest is always, like, a dark-haired, bright-eyed male. I love that he's, like, a little bit different, like, he has, like, the
Yes, he has
dark hair
longer
that's
hair, it's a little bit
red.
reddish.
Yeah, he's got the red eyes. I loved, like, his, like, he has the feather wings, and I think no, at some point in time, she that's how she introduces you to, like, the difference between the 2 different types of
Yes, is his
vampires.
wings.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
it's funny because when she describes, like, he has the feathered wings, I just remember thinking, like, I really hope that Araya gets the feather wings instead of, like, the, like, disgusting leather wings,
Bat
but, like,
wings.
that's really, like, so hypocritical of me as someone who loves a bat boy, and when I started reading Crescent City and she starts describing Hunt's feathered wings, I'm like, "Ew," like,
You're
that's
like,
ew.
"Ooh, he
That's not
wishes he was a bat
manly. Yeah,
boy."
literally, literally.
He
So,
could
anyway,
never.
but
Yeah.
now
No,
I
totally.
I stand by, that desire that I do want Araya to have the feather wings whenever she is blessed with
Okay.
wings.
Okay, but do you think that's possible because Vincent is not Rishan, he's the other one?
Okay, see? Who knows? Because I
Who
guess maybe
knows?
it depends. Maybe it's like a 50-50, like with
True,
the
because if she gets turned by a Rishan and
right?
they have that, whatever,
Yeah. Yeah,
feather
they have
wing.
the what are they call oh, yeah, the Rishan, and then the ones with the, like, plain leathers, Hiage. I believe
Yes,
that's how
that's right.
Carissa says it on her
Right.
her story highlight. Yeah.
So, yes, that is, like, gonna be a huge determining factor, like, how
Mhm.
does she decide what wings?
Yeah.
I also loved that Rain was, like, really helpful to her and
Mhm.
respected her as, like, a human. Like,
Yeah.
he was turned, it was, like, revealed in the middle of the book or maybe towards the end that he was actually
Yeah.
turned, and that's why he is so, helpful to her in the human villages when they start killing
Yeah.
off the vampires. Um, and it's like a big reveal. I kind of already knew that because he had like scars and stuff. And
Yeah.
she kept reiterating that vampires like don't scar and they get more perfect as they age and all this stuff. So I
Mhm.
kind of had a hint that he was turned, but
Yeah.
it was a good reveal. Like I thought it was a good little. moment for them, for
Yeah.
Araya at least, because she never expected that.
Right, and for me, I had absolutely no idea, again, which I don't think we ever, like, outright said that this was my first vampire book, but it was. So I was, like, not familiar with your typical, like, the traits of vampires, so I never picked up on the scarring thing. It was one of those things, like, I just brushed right through it. So I never picked up on it. When he said it, I was genuinely shocked, and now that I'm thinking about it more, I guess maybe the fact that he's the Rishon, like maybe that could have been a nod towards what he was going for at the end, or like more of his story, because he talks about how he was turned by the
A
last.
powerful man and like, yeah.
Yeah. So like he does kind of say that. I definitely didn't pick up on it. So at the end, like with his wish and everything that he was going for, I was like 100%. I couldn't have predicted the end, which I absolutely
The
freaking
end was
love.
so fucking good. And I do want to say, like, he was so in love with Aurea that he was willing to sacrifice all of these plans that involved hundreds of other people,
Hmm.
maybe thousands. I don't know how many people live there, but
Hmm.
for her to just live her normal, like her life how she wanted
Yeah.
and to get her wish, that would have been such a bad decision for society as a whole, because then Vincent would have like untapped power because of Aurea.
Literally, literally.
Like, I don't think it was the smartest move, but I think it really does show how much he loves her and appreciates
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, grand scheme of things, Rain's wish and like his plans are a million times more important, like have
Yes.
more of an impact on their lives as a whole. So obviously, some shit's gonna go down at the end. Like, there's no way they both die, but the way that it came about, and especially because like Araya takes such a risk in just saying,
She
I wish
does.
that because I wish that Rain won, because you don't know what that entails. Like, Nyaxia is a conniving, evil little bitch. She could have just like Araya
She
could have
is.
dropped dead on the
Yeah,
spot. She
on
didn't
impact, like,
know.
immediately, and she didn't know, she
Yeah.
didn't care, she was like, "I just saw him die, I don't want that, and I want him
Hmm.
back." But not only did she ask for him to come back alive, she was like, "I want him to win, I want him to get his
Hmm.
wish," and, like, that's so crazy, and I think that
Yeah.
the fact that they already loved each other that much was the only reason that she went through with that marriage and didn't
Yeah.
just, like, go totally insane, because she
Yeah.
is smart enough to know that, like, I developed this relationship with this guy, and there's a reason why whatever happened happened. I don't know it right
Yeah.
now, but I'm going to figure it out. And so
Yeah.
them two together, I feel like it's going to be really, really good. I'm so happy that they're married. I know it kind of sucked.
Same.
Like the ceremony, he's like, "All right, we're married, whatever." She's like crying so bad that she can't even like say the vows. So he
Yeah.
says them for her. I don't know. It was
Yeah.
not a good ceremony, but I'm just happy it happened.
Okay. And Carissa posted, I think I sent it to you on Instagram, but she posted like a little blurb from the second book. And I like to think that it's like how they're gonna
It was
get back
so good.
together. Um, so good. Should I read it?
Yeah, read it off.
It says, "You told me once you would beg for me," I murmured, another brush of my lips over him. "So do it." And yeah,
I
I'm
think they're
ready for
having
that.
hate sex and his dick is in her
Uh-huh.
mouth, or about to
Mhm.
be, and she's like, "You're gonna beg real
Ooh.
quick," and then he begs, they have sex, they make up. Maybe not
Yeah,
all the way
and
up, but like a lot of the way.
yeah, one can, like, only hope that that's how it happens,
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
anyway.
totally. So the next character is Misha, which I think Carissa says Misha, but I like Misha
Misha.
better, so
I
that's
like
why
Misha
that's why I
better.
say
Yeah,
it.
let's go with Misha.
Okay, so Misha is Rain's companion. They like entered the Kajari together. She wanted to
Mhm.
enter on her own, and he is her best friend. So he was like, "No, you can't do that. I'm
Yeah.
going to go with you and try to protect you as best I can." Which, like, talk
Mm.
about a freaking heartthrob. I
Mm.
love Rain. He's like, he knows that if Misha, if it ended up, Rain never happened, and he wanted Misha to win, he would have done the same thing for her.
Totally.
So I just love this man.
Yeah, he's incredible, but okay.
But okay, so let's talk about Mish's character. Sorry, I got back on the other track.
No,
So
that's okay.
she is. not like the other vampires. She kind of
Mm-mm.
hasn't come into her like vampire etiquette yet. She like is
Mhm.
very outgoing, very outspoken to Araya to begin with, and Araya gets like a little freaked out because she's like, the only time a vampire's ever gotten this close to me is when they want to bite me. So I'm not really
Yeah.
fucking with you getting this close.
Yeah, absolutely,
So
and it's, like, so endearing at the beginning because, like, you get introduced to Misha when they're at, like, the dinner before the Kajari stars, and she's like, "Oh, have you tried this steak?" or whatever, like, "It's so good."
she's like, it's delicious. It's like dripping blood onto her mouth.
Yeah, yeah. So you get introduced to her that way, and, like, that's really endearing, and I love a character to bring, like, some kind of lightheartedness or just, like, comedic relief, just, like, something, and I really liked Misha, but, like, it was getting to be a little bit too much for me, like
Yeah, Katie got annoyed there in the middle by
yeah,
Misha.
yeah.
And it really happens whenever Araya's like forced to kind of move in with them because
Mhm.
of the vampire situation.
Yeah.
And then you don't get a break from Misha really.
Yeah, and, like, she has, like, really good energy and, like, in real life, that is, like I live with someone who is that way. Hoyt definitely brings that kind of energy, but, like, for her and maybe it was because she obviously has to, like, leave the story at a certain point in time, so maybe Carissa was trying to, like, really hammer down, like, this is her personality, this is what you need to know, just, like, get it in there, but yeah, Misha was, like, teetering that line between you are on my nerves, like, just a little bit
Yes.
longer, which I don't wanna sorry, this is getting a little bit off, but there's a similar character in the other series, The Daughter of No Worlds. Like, that's not the name of the series, but
Second book.
yeah, yeah, there's this similar character, and it works so well for this other character because of her backstory, but in this instance, I was like, if when we meet back up with Misha in the second book,
We need the backstory on why you
sh
act like this.
and she needs to be like, they need to be in some serious situations to where she's not, like, on 10 at all times, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and I found it hard to take her seriously as a competitor for that reason. I
Mhm.
was like, why are
Yes.
you here and happy about it?
Yeah. Oh, I wonder what her wish was gonna be. Did it ever say?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe they had
If
the
it did,
same
I just skimmed
wish.
over it.
Okay, maybe they had this, like, similar wishes, but yeah, I'm
I
obviously, like
do
go ahead.
I do think we owe her everything between Rain and Araya because she kind of forced them to get along, um, and, like, fight together and
Mhm.
actually give each other the time of day.
Yeah, and there's
So
that scene too where she, like, is talking to Rain and she's like, "You overreacted, like, you need to apologize," and
yes.
thankfully, like, she is a really good sounding board for Rain and he listened to her, so then, like, they obviously did make up, but yeah, I'm hoping that book 2, she's, like, dialed back a little bit.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
agree.
let's move on to our last one, which is Septimus, my king. Um, I love this man. Like, that's pretty much all that I have to say. He's so
This man is mysterious. Like,
yeah.
he puts the mystery that Rain gives to shame. Like, you're like, "Who
Mhm.
are you? Why do you know all this stuff?
Yeah.
Like, why do you keep
And he
popping up everywhere?"
yeah, he's like he's with the shits. Like, he knows things and he's so cryptic. And he just
Yeah.
has this, like, shit-eating grin and oh my god, like, I absolutely love him. I cannot wait to get more from him because obviously he's gonna be a really big part of what's going on, as he was the one who kind of, like, arranged the deal with
Yeah.
Rain at the end, for Angelica to not kill Araya.
No,
Isn't that what
totally.
ha
He is, like, one of the reasons that Araya is still alive to this day
yeah.
because, him and Rain had some sort of deal, and I think he's gonna get something out of Rain's, wish, like, whatever the big overarching idea they have, like,
Yeah.
I think Septimus has gotten a piece of that,
Mhm.
and in return for that, he had to help Araya not die,
Yeah.
and so literally she's about to get killed by what's her name? Angelica?
Yeah.
Okay. And Rain looks at him and he like, kills her. Like,
Yeah.
no big deal. And she knows. She's like, good luck. It
Yeah.
was crazy.
Yeah, it's so good. Like he's such a he just seems so manipulative, and like I really
I
love a character
love
like that.
it. Me too.
I love
Because
it.
you can't really anticipate their moves.
Mhm.
And I like that. I think that's so fun. I also loved that he isn't like trying to hide in the shadows. He's like out and about. He was
Right.
always like at the
Mm.
events. He showed up like whenever Araya was just out of the Moon Palace one night hunting and gave her a cigarillo. Like it was like their meeting was
Oh,
hilarious. And
he's
he
so
always
iconic.
calls her little dove. Like I think that's so funny because she's not by
Right.
any means a little dove. She is literally one of the top competitors of the Kajari.
Yes.
It's very
Yeah,
condescending, and I liked
he
that.
gives every single thing that like I could ever want. So I cannot wait to read more about him. He just like he keeps his cards close to the vest,
Yes.
and oh,
He
it's
also
so
was giving
good.
Cyril, he dropped a hint that well, he didn't even drop the hint. He just straight up
Yes.
called Araya the wrong name. And when Araya asked in front of Rain, and Rain like flinches, and when Araya asks about it, it's like basically Rain's old fling that they were like
Yeah.
turned together and all this stuff. And so she ends up dying. She like sacrifices herself kind of.
Mhm.
Um, but if he would have never said that, he knew what he
Yeah.
was doing. But
Oh, he
if
so
he would have
did.
never
He just
said that, like
like
she wouldn't have known.
he
He
sprinkled
just
it in
sprinkled it
like,
in.
whoops. Ooh, did I say that? Oh, I
Loved it.
absolutely love it. All right. I think that's got us on our character overview. So let's get into our favorites.
Okay. You want to do favorite character first?
Yeah. So who was your favorite
So
character?
mine was Alana, and it's so sad, but like as soon as I met her, I knew she was gonna be the best character for
Mm-hmm.
me. I love a bitch who's seen some shit. I love a bitch who smokes a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
And she was not afraid to tell Araya how she felt. And if she
Mm-hmm.
were alive on the night of the dinner, she would have made Araya not wear the scarf.
Oh my
Like,
God.
she's the kind of person that will be like, you look ugly. It's
Yeah.
raggedy. She was just a real one. And so I loved her. I miss
Yeah.
her, frankly.
Yeah.
What
R.I.P. She
about
really was a
you?
good one. I don't think that
I think
mine
we already
was.
know. I don't think it's a
Yeah,
surprise.
so mine is Septimus. Like I just love his sneaky ass. I'm dying for more of him. Like I feel like he's gonna be like the one liner. Like he just is so like quick witted. He's so funny.
Yes. And you love what do you call it? Silver tongue? You love a silver
Oh yeah,
tongue
he's silver
queen?
tongued. I love it. Okay, so and Carissa says on Instagram somewhere, you can find this. The series is actually going to be a series of three duologies. So it'll be two about the what are they? The Nightborn. There's going to be two about the Bloodborn, two about the Shadowborn.
I
I
did not see that.
yeah, yeah. I am praying that he
Is the main
is
character for one.
yeah, because I need more, like
Yeah.
but okay, you know what? When they start getting you more into, like, the emotions of a character like that, I kinda lose interest. I'm like, "No, I don't want this
I
version of you.
just
I
wanted
don't."
him to be crass. Yeah.
Yeah,
With
exactly.
no
So but
context. When you don't have
right,
context, it's better.
right, but, yeah, I'm really hoping that he is the main character of that duology,
I hope
and
so too. He would be a great main character, I think.
mhm, yeah.
So, okay, we got favorite character, favorite scene. What's yours?
My favorite scene is the Half Moon trial. Um, I mean, obviously everyone's favorite scene is the sex scene, but
True.
that aside, mine is the Half Moon trial, which is the one where she and Rain are like connected in the mind. I just thought that it was like so clever. Not so much in like the fact that they were connected, but more so in the fact like whenever Rain is getting attacked and then Araya automatically thinks like, okay, if I attack the partner of the person who's attacking him, then
Yeah.
that will in turn.
That was
I just thought,
so clever. I
yeah,
loved that whole entire
yeah,
trial.
I just thought it was like so clever. And then like they have to choose between the two doors, and somebody is standing there like trying to pick which door, and another bitch runs up and just shoves them through one of them, and they're just like
Yes.
incinerated, like immediately
Hilarious. Like
dead.
vaporized.
Yeah, like just gone. I loved that part. And then also in this scene, you get to see like Araya finally realizes that fear is the key to unlocking the
Yeah.
like the full spectrum of her power. So I just loved the scene. And then obviously after that, like she and Rain have a connection with one another. Like they survive it. He hugs her at the end. That's when shit like really gets going, because then
Yes.
Vincent is like so confused
Privy
about,
to like what's going on with them.
yeah.
Like, why are they hugging? Like, what's going on? They're a little
Yes.
bit more than just partners now. Yeah.
Right. So that
I
was
love it.
my
I was
favorite
actually,
scene.
yeah, that was a really good scene. The whole entire trial was good. I was so nervous after they hugged in front of Vincent. I
Yeah.
was like, he's about to murder the best character in this freaking
Mhm.
series. Like,
Mhm.
ugh. So anyway, great choice. So mine is actually the next trial, the Crescent Moon trial.
Mhm.
They are like in this like place where it's like acid everywhere, and they're trying to hide, and they go in this
Yeah.
cave, and they have like Nyaxi is a fucking cunt. Like I need
Yeah.
everyone to understand that. Like how this bitch is still in some sort of power, I don't know. But she's a bitch, and she has
Yeah.
starved all of these vampires, and Rhea is stuck with them. And Rain does his best to not like ask for much from her
Mhm.
as far as that goes. But then when they get to the trial, he's like so weak, he can't think straight. He's basically
Yeah.
going crazy. And she offers to give him
Mhm.
blood. And that is where shit finally like picks up. Like they're no longer just friends. They're no
Finally.
longer just like partners.
Yeah.
That things are spicy in
Yeah.
the cave scene. I loved
Yeah.
it. This was
Yeah.
also Katie's first vampire bite scene, except for the old man. That was like kind of nasty.
Oh my
But
god.
her first like her first like real vampire scene,
Mhm.
where it literally makes you so horny. I don't know what vampire writer committee came together and decided that vampire
Right.
venom was gonna make you horny and euphoric, but I'm happy that they did for this
Yeah.
exact reason.
Yeah. Yeah, especially because I always feel like obviously like the girl is a little bit more, maybe not hesitant, but more shy when it comes to like the physical like interactions. So in this instance, she's just like laid it bare, which granted, even if she didn't have feelings for Rain in this moment, they probably would have come out just due to like the venom having that effect on
Yeah.
her. But like he knows, like
Everybody knows.
he knows,
It's
she
no
knows.
secret.
Mhm.
Yes. So that was my favorite scene because that's when it really starts kicking off their like actual romance. Like they still have to
Yeah.
survive that challenge, but it kind of gave them like a little bit of an insight to each other's feelings before they like did the real sex scene. So I thought that was
Yeah.
exciting.
Such a good one.
So that is all we have for our favorites. Now let's talk some shit.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about our least favorite scene.
Okay. What you got? What's your least favorite?
Okay, so my least favorite scene, you're gonna be pissed, is when Septimus saves Araya from getting killed by Angelica. Not because I
Okay.
don't like Septimus, and not because I think that I don't know. There's no other reason except for Araya. I wanted Araya to win in her own right.
Okay. Yeah, that
I'm
that's fair.
I'm okay with Rain. Like Rain took the knife and shoved it into himself with the cord when her hands were on it, so
Yeah.
that he could like end the trial. And I'm fine with that because that was self-sacrificial, but Angelica probably would have won
Yeah.
if not for Septimus. And I didn't want that. I wanted it to be like Aurea was the clear winner, like Aurea and Rain. Like they
Yeah.
didn't need anyone else. Like she made it that far without help. And this was like her first time where she gets like a ton of help from somebody
Yeah.
else. and I
Okay,
didn't really like that.
that's totally fair because I get in this mindset too where I don't want anybody to be better than the main character. Like she needs to be the
Yeah.
most powerful, like the most self-sufficient. So the fact that like
Yes.
it was kind of like someone else was intervening in that, I can totally understand that. So I'm
Yeah.
not mad.
Okay. What's yours?
My least favorite scene. So I saw that you predicted that mine would be where the minister
I did predict that. Was that correct?
bites her. Okay, that is definitely up there. Like the scene freaked me out. Like, okay, let me back up and say my least favorite scene was when Araya is stitching up Rain's wounds, like on
Back.
his
Okay.
back. And while the like content, like the relationship building during that scene is really, really good and it's important. I'm so squeamish. Like I do not like needles. I
It
don't
wasn't
like
a little bit of
blood.
detail. Like, it was, like,
I
pretty
ugh,
specific.
like I can't. Ooh, like I hate stuff like that. It was actually uncomfortable. Like I was like fidgeting the whole time, just like cringing the whole time because like she's talking
Yeah.
about a needle
And you
going
can't
in
skip it because
your back.
they're having, like, combo that's, like, important, so
Yeah,
you can't just, like,
yeah.
skip past it.
So that said, like I am really squeamish and therefore I didn't like that. So when like the minister bites her, it wasn't that part that I disliked. He's so creepy. He freaks me out so bad, just like the
Yeah.
worst vibes.
His
I
milky
absolutely
white
hate
eyes, like,
ugh,
no.
and like he just is disgusting. Like so I hated that too, but yeah, those were definitely my top two. Like I could have done without those details
Those 2
as
s
part of the
yeah.
story. Yeah.
Yeah. I also said that after the first episode, I was gonna stop touching my hair, and that has not proven true. So, if you're watching this on YouTube, like, I'm just pretending this is my mirror. I don't know. Anyway, so more shit that we're talking is one thing about the plot or the book in general that we hated or we would change.
Yeah.
Katie, what you got?
Okay, so this is like a very small thing, and she actually does this in her other series too. But whenever Carissa is telling the story's written in past tense, right? Like from the
The
first
whole
person
thing.
perspective, told in
Right.
past tense. When the narrator is telling a story from again in past tense, she says things like I had seen, I had taken, I had thought. I hate that because it reminds me like I just keep thinking of like what had happened was and I don't like
Oh,
that. Like
okay.
we already know when you said it
That is
reminds
past
me of
tense.
yeah, it reminds me of 7 years ago when this happened. Like we already know that you're like going back in time. We don't need the hads. So that was just like a small one, but
Stylistic change. Okay.
the biggest thing that I actually just like I didn't like was the last trial because I just felt like the last one should be like the biggest and baddest. And they've already gone through so many trials, like they kill multiple people and it's like really scary, really dangerous. The only thing that they had to do, which obviously, like after the technical trial, they then just have to like outright kill one another. But where it's just like the three gods and they each have to kill them, but it's actually just like people that are already dead. Like
Like
it,
corpses. Yeah.
it just felt like it wasn't good enough to be the last trial. Like it's the last one, and you have dead people LARPing as God. Like it was just really like uninspired to me. I just felt like
It
I don't
definitely reminded
know.
me of the Hunger Games when they had the mutts that were the old competitors that,
Mhm.
like, basically transformed them into those, like, scary little dogs, but they were actually the
Yeah.
old competitors. It was definitely a little too similar to that for
Yeah.
me. I personally felt like it made sense for Nyaxia to have them have a sort of easier
Yeah.
trial because she's like, I don't really care if you die in this one. You might, but probably not. But what I really
Right.
want you to do is look each other in the eyeballs and kill each other in my own name. Like, she
Yeah.
wants her kids fighting. She loves it. And
Oh.
I think she wanted it to be like in cold blood. You have to murder each other if you really want this wish. I'm not going to do it for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get that. I just felt like I had big expectations, like I just kept
Yeah.
thinking,
No, I totally
especially
agree.
especially because, like, the half moon was, like, so clever to
Insane.
me, and then,
Yeah.
like, you get,
And the
like, the big
crescent moon was,
reveal.
like, sad, and a lot of
Right,
people died in that one. There
right,
were just harder trials.
yeah, I just felt like this one, like, fell flat a little bit, and maybe that what you're saying is true, that she just wanted, like, it to be like, here's, like, a nod to the other gods and people that I knew or killed or whatever, but ultimately you have to kill one another. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just felt uninspired to me, so
Yeah.
that's
I
mine. How
gotcha.
about you?
My thing that I would change, I didn't really hate anything else that we haven't talked about, but the thing that I would change is that I would have Vincent tell her much earlier that he was her real dad. Like, what the
Mm,
fuck would that have changed?
yeah.
Like, is he that worried, like, that a human is going to challenge him to be the heir? Like, he's that insecure about it? She loves
Yeah.
him. She would not
That
do that.
That and, like, how is she gonna find out what happened? Like, how is she gonna know the story? Does anybody know that he was her real father? Like, did he keep a
No, and
diary? Like, how's she gonna find out?
I don't know, and I truly think that he kept it from everyone. Like, I don't think anyone knows the
Yeah.
story, and that he was doing it to protect her in some way. I'm not really sure, but she's not the type of person that you can't trust with information like that, and
Mhm.
you trust her enough to put her through this trial to bond her to you. Like, was that when he was gonna tell her?
Yeah.
I'm not
I don't
sure.
know.
I feel like if it happened earlier on, it would have given her, like, a lot more of a reason to fight for something.
Yeah.
However, I do think it would have not been taken as well whenever he got murdered by
Oh,
Rain.
totally. No,
So
you're
maybe it did
so
help
right.
in some regard, but,
Yeah.
like, whenever he's
Yeah.
dying and he's like, "I was gonna tell you," and she's like, "What the fuck?" Like,
Yeah.
that's how I would have felt too. I'd have been like, why now?"
Yeah. Yeah, which obviously that is, like, a huge, like, thing at the end that's, like, a really big surprise, but, like, now I'm definitely shitting it, like, how is she gonna find out about, like, what's the story there? Who's her mom? Like,
Yeah,
she just doesn't know anything, so,
and for in
yeah.
that same reason, like, why would he not find her mom and help protect her? I don't know, whatever.
Mhm. Yeah.
I just think that I would have liked it more if he told her a little bit earlier. I mean, she definitely would have been way more pissed that he died, but
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Um, Hot takes. Do you have any hot takes about anything that happened in the book or any of the writing or anything?
Okay, I really don't think that this is a hot take. It's just something that I was just, like, rolling my eyes, which I hate. I don't like this on, like, TV shows or anything where it's like, "Oh, of course, this man she hasn't seen in 15 years just so happens to be at the exact same coffee shop that," like, I
Oh,
hate
yeah.
when, like, it's just, like, a little bit too on the nose. So, my thing was in the 4th trial when Araya wakes up, she's in this, like, wilderness, and it's got, like, the poisoned animals. She has been able to wake up, see the other people, see them attack the animals, like drink the blood. The poison has time to kick in. Then she has time to realize that they're poisoned, hunt down Rain in the literal forest, convince him to not eat, drink the blood of the animal, all before Rain, like the most powerful, most efficient, like the best one in this whole thing, has had time to do that. I was just like, come on, like
Yeah.
it's Rain. He could have gotten to an animal like this just as soon as he woke up. So just like the timing was a little bit like, come on. But other than that, like if that's the worst that happened,
Yeah. I
it's
liked
not that
that scene because I
bad.
was like, "Oh, she's like everyone else is gonna get fucked over this because they're so
Yeah.
bloodthirsty, and Rain is, like, one
Yeah.
of the only ones that can control it because 'cause he's been
Mhm.
turned." But I agree with what you're saying, like, how could Rain not have figured it out on his own a little bit?
Right.
Why does he need her?
Yeah. It was just a little bit. I was like, I don't know, but nonetheless, they
I mean,
got
it
through
worked
it.
out, whatever, they
Yeah.
found each other, it's
Yeah.
fine, I totally
Yeah.
agree with you, though, I think now that you're, like, putting it in that perspective, it is a little weird and a little bit
Yeah.
too contrived.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. How about you?
so
What's your hot
m
take?
my hot take, and this might not even be a hot take, I haven't talked to anyone else besides you that has read this book. I love that Vincent died. See
Yeah.
ya.
Mhm.
Like, I just feel like it had to happen. After
Yeah.
Araya changed her wish, she was gonna have to deal with his wrath forever and, like,
Yes.
try to figure out a way to, like, mend things with him, and she would have not figured out that she was an heir. They would have been, like, on 2 sides of this war, and she was gonna have to pick, like, her dad, which she didn't even know was her fucking dad,
Right.
and Rain, and so I just think it would have been too messy if he were alive.
Yeah.
Um, it
It was
also kind
definitely
of
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it was, like, definitely for the better. Like you said, like, imagine if Vincent had not been killed, and then after this is all said and done, like, she's meeting him outside the locker room, and he's like, "You didn't bond with me. You just gave away, like."
The wish, like, our whole entire plan, and now you're not immortal. He would have killed her.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For
I
sure.
think he would have.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if he actually would have, but, like, I just feel like he would have in some way either killed her or captured her or something.
Mhm.
It also takes down, like, the whole opposing side of this war almost because as soon as Vincent dies, his, like, whatever war leader, whatever her name is,
Oh,
Jasmine,
yeah. Yeah.
comes to Array and is like, "Okay, what do you wanna do?" And so now
Mhm.
she's in charge of the opposite front from Rain, and I think that she's just
Yeah.
gonna be like, "Okay, let me gather the information about this award that's been going on while I've been gone for months
Right.
and then make a decision." And I think it will work out better
Yeah.
for the whole entire, like, continent as a whole that
Yeah.
Vincent is dead.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, it obviously brings up some, like, now what questions, that the fact that he's dead, but I do definitely think, like, it's better off. We've got the storyline of, like, we don't know how Vincent even is her father. Like, how did he
Yeah.
know, especially given the circumstances under which he finds her? It just makes the whole thing more interesting, which obviously, like, that sucks big time for Araya. Like, she doesn't know any, like, her entire history. She doesn't know any of that, but I agree with you. I think we're better
Yeah.
off that he's dead. He's out of the picture. He can't have any, I mean, he himself cannot have any, like, direct impact on what happens next, because he obviously is, like, a powerful vampire. I mean, he's the king, so he would
Yeah.
definitely, like, cause issues for the Rishon.
Yeah, totally. I think it would have made the whole entire battles, like, all of the war worse if he were
Yeah.
still alive.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I was just very happy to see him go.
Yeah.
He was too
He's
stressful for me.
Yeah. Yeah, too cryptic. He never gave us any
Ugh,
information, like,
so cryptic. And you know what? I kept forgetting that he had blonde hair. Like, I was imagining this old,
baby
like, looking
girl.
man, but then they kept saying that he had, like, blonde hair or that he, like, looked, like, perfect, and I was like, I was literally imagining Bart Bass from Gossip Girl.
Not Bart Bass.
It's just not what he's supposed to look like, and that is one thing that I don't like about reading series that are so new. There is little to no fan art for
Yeah,
me to base
yeah.
my characters off of, which
Mhm.
I guess is okay because in prior times when I've read things that have been popular for a little bit, I've spoiled things for myself while looking up fan art. I know you've
Yeah,
also had a similar
yeah,
experience. So, I don't know, it's neither here nor there. There are some that Carissa has been, like, resharing on her Instagram that are pretty
yeah.
good, pretty close to what I was picturing, but not a Vincent.
No, not a Vincent, and I also have tried to look up Septimus, of course, and absolutely no luck. It's bringing up, like, who
Yeah.
Septimus, like, the OG one from, like, Greek mythology, or maybe that's not even
Oh,
what it was, but,
yeah.
like,
Like
it is
history or
difficult.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like, with the origin of the name Septimus, like, and
Yeah.
not my
That's not what I
man's.
need.
Yeah,
I need a
exactly.
cartoon.
Literally.
One time I was gathering things to send you for Throne of Glass, I think, and, like, just, like, trying to pick up things to send, and Jake was, like, beside me, and he was like, "Are you looking at anime? Like, what are you doing?" And I was like, it's just as weird as that. So, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just, like, trying to find cartoons to send Katie so she can know what characters look like without ruining half of the plot for herself.
Yeah, no, that's true. I am very fortunate that up until this point, you have read all these books before me, so you can kind of like do like a first glance at everything without spoiling things because
Yeah.
I think we've all probably spoiled a thing or two for ourselves
Yeah.
by trying to look up fan art. So yeah.
Totally. Okay, so let's do our overall thoughts. For me, I'm like the bitch that gives everybody 4 or 5 stars on Goodreads. I just like
Hmm.
I can't not. Like if
Yeah.
I remotely enjoyed your book, you're getting 4 stars.
Hmm.
I want to give this 5. Like I absolutely loved everything about it. Like just like that review said, I've had like an emptiness in me since I've finished Throne of Glass and all of the other
Hmm.
Sarah J Maas books that I feel like is finally healed
It's filled.
after
Yeah.
reading this. And
Yeah.
now I have a second one coming out this week that I can read. I just think this is just such a good series, and I can't wait to read the rest of her stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
so I'm gonna give her 4.5 stars. I want to leave some room to grow because I know the next book
Hmm.
is just going to be even better.
Yep.
And then I also want to do a chili pepper scale of spice.
Okay.
I wanted to give it 2.5, but I think I'm going to give it 2 just because of
Okay.
the quantity. But it is not a quality
Right.
issue like these. The this actual sex scene and the cave scene
Yeah.
were so good.
She gave it to us.
So fucking good. It's what we waited for with the slow burn that they had.
Hmm.
It's like everything and more. It's if it's 2 chili peppers, but it's like the chili peppers that you want to have. You never want to have
Right.
another chili pepper again. Like
Right.
juicy, perfect, ripe. Never had a better pepper in your
That
life. And she gets 2 of them.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It Once she decided to give it to us, she gave it to us. I was not left I mean, I'm now wanting more, but like at the moment I was
Yes.
like my thirst
I was like,
has been
wow.
quenched.
Yes.
It was so good. So I totally agree with that. And I also I'm stingy with Goodreads stars, but
Okay, well,
I
this is perfect for us because now our books have like one of each. Someone who wants to
right.
give you all the stars and someone who wants to withhold them.
Right. So I'm still giving this book 4 stars because I want to leave room to grow. Like, especially because I've now read her other series, and book 2 is just like so freaking good. I have so
I'm
much
so
faith
jealous.
in
I'm starting them
her.
immediately.
Yeah, no, you have to. So I'm gonna go 4 stars. Just and the only like reason that it isn't 5 is because I'm book 2 is gonna have to be 5 stars. Like I have to save room for that. And I agree with your chili pepper rating. It is totally just a quantity, not even an issue, but factor
Yes,
that,
no issue. I'm happy to take those 2
yeah,
chili peppers. Like,
yeah,
pumped about it.
absolutely. Yeah. But one thing I wanted to add is that this story, I feel like if you are new to fantasy, if this is like your first fantasy book, it's such a good intro because the story is so linear and you don't have I mean, you do have backstory, but it's not all of this backstory. And I thought it was this, but really there was a curse. And then there was this person over here that I haven't even met
Yeah,
yet. It's like some things can get so
it's
in
so
depth.
easy to follow.
Yes, it's so extremely easy to follow. And I love that about this book. And I also love that there were things about this book that, because you don't have this in-depth backstory that's going to like necessarily give away things that are coming, you're genuinely surprised about
Yeah.
what's coming
The
up because
ending was like not foreshadowed at
yeah,
all.
yeah,
There's still things that need to be hashed out at the
right,
end. Like, you don't feel like you could be like, "Okay, I don't really wanna follow this up." Like, you need to know what's about to happen, and
yeah,
it didn't take going through all this shit to get there, and I could explain this to someone who doesn't read fantasy, and they would be able to follow me.
yeah,
Try
exactly.
doing that with Empire of Storms. Just
You,
try.
no,
I've
like
tried.
you literally you can't like Hoyt, when I try to explain to him my fantasy stories, I did explain this one to him, and he understood it. I think I probably explained it in, well, knowing me, probably 10 minutes, but that's quick. for me to
That's
be
pretty
able to get.
quick. Yeah.
So anyway, I just love that about this book, that you get a build up and then you learn, okay, there's a backstory, and you can kind of fill in the gaps instead of here's a backstory and now I can speculate. I don't want to
Connect the dots.
speculate.
Yeah, I don't want
Yeah,
to either.
I just want to be genuinely surprised, and I really love that about this book. So it was absolutely incredible. I cannot wait for the next one.
I know. And so the next one is going to be our book for May.
May. Yeah.
We're
Like
like
not the
March,
next
April.
one, but the
Yeah,
one after that. That'll
right.
be the book.
Yes. And the reason being is because a lot of our followers have not read this book yet. And so once we want to give them time to read this one and then get the next one and read it. So we're going to do it in May. We are about to announce our book for next month. We got us a
Mm-hmm.
little chaser. So Katie, do you want to talk
Mm-hmm.
about it?
Yeah. So, as we mentioned on our first episode, Ashlyn does not like a love interest to have blonde hair. Well, guess what? The next one does. So, the next book will be King of Battle and Blood. Ashlyn has read it. I have
I
not.
have read it.
So, I'm really, really excited about it. It's per
I
what
read it a
Ashlyn
year ago,
said.
so I'm going to be rereading it, but there are 2 books already in the series. The second one came out. I didn't realize that it had already came out, and I was in Barnes& and Noble a couple weeks ago and just saw it
Mhm.
sitting out. And I was like, "Oh, wow, I forgot about this series." So, we wanted to give us something to kind of break up the Crowns of Nyaxia series, but we didn't
Yeah.
want it to be something that has 8 books. So, this is something nice that only has 2 out thus far that I know of.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll read the first one for our next book, and then we'll have The Crowns of Nyaxia, book 2. Then hopefully, well, I guess depending, because if I don't like the first book, we might not read the
That's true, we
second
might
book.
not. It just depends on Katie's review.
Yeah, so we'll see. That's kind of our plan moving forward. But this book has a little bit of like different characters in terms of like looks. So that'll be really nice, because I feel like you
Mhm.
always have the blonde girl and the dark haired lover. And so this one's going to kind of switch it up a little bit. I'm really
Yeah.
excited about it. I know
And I
that you've
actually didn't have a
recommended.
problem with this early on. Like, when I read this book, it didn't really bother me that bad. But I really liked the female character in this book, so
Okay.
I think that you'll like it. I honestly do. It's a little
Okay.
bit shorter too, so that's kind of nice because we're gonna want to get to the next Crowns of Nyaxia
Yeah.
novel pretty soon.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really excited about it. I know that you've recommended it to quite a few people already. I've seen, like, even in our comments, you've mentioned it to me before. So I'm really
Mhm.
excited to read it. And I don't know anything about the book except for there's a blondie. So
Yes, get pumped for anyone who loves Blondie. Ansley, if you're listening, I know you love a blonde guy. So that's kind of all we have for today. The next time we
yeah.
talk to you guys, I will know where I'm living, and me and Katie will have
Woo.
had a whole weekend to get our feelings out for one another. And then we'll be talking about a brand new book. So I'm super excited.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well,
Well,
I
thank you
think that's,
guys.
yeah, I think that's got us. So just want to thank you guys for listening to the club. This is the book club podcast. She's not going to put you to sleep.
No, we are so excited to kick this podcast off with this first book. We're available on Apple, Spotify, and anywhere else you get podcasts. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and please give this video a thumbs up. If you have any books that you would like us to read and review on the podcast, please submit those to the clubgirlies@gmail.com. That's GIRLIES, or by Instagram DMs. Our Instagram is @girlies of the club. We can also talk to you about any books that we've read so far that we haven't reviewed yet. If you have any questions, just DM us. And we also appreciate any feedback that you guys have. And we're so excited to continue this podcast. Yeah. So thanks for joining.
All right. Thanks, guys.